Imagine this: the unbreakable Hugo Keenan, Ireland's lightning-fast fullback, gripping the wheel on a rain-slicked Dublin road at midnight, when out of nowhere, a blinding flash, screeching metal, and a crash that echoes like thunder. Was it a split-second mistake or something far darker lurking in the shadows? Your heart races as the airbags explode. Hold on, because what happens next will leave you speechless. If this gripping tale has you hooked, smash that like button right now. Subscribe to Aussie NRL updates for exclusive rugby drama you won't find anywhere else, and drop a comment. Could you bounce back from this nightmare? Let's dive deeper into the chaos that nearly ended a legend's legacy. Hugo Keenan had it all: a glittering career with Leinster, caps for Ireland that made fans roar, and a life off the pitch that screamed picture perfect. Born in 1996 in Dublin, he rose from the muddy fields of Gonzaga College to become the defensive rock and attacking spark of the Emerald Isles rugby machine. By 2025, at 29, he was at his peak, fresh off a Six Nations triumph where his try-saving tackles went viral, earning him whispers of World Rugby Player of the Year. Off-field, Hugo was the guy everyone envied, engaged to his high school sweetheart, Ella, a sharp-witted journalist who balanced his chaos with quiet strength. They had a cozy apartment overlooking the Liffey, filled with trophies and dreams of starting a family. Hugo's routine was ironclad: early mornings at the gym, afternoons dissecting game tapes with coach Leo Cullen, evenings unwinding with a pint at his local, the Bernard Shaw. He was the embodiment of discipline, the player who turned heads not just for his 6 feet 2 inches frame and blistering speed but for his humility. Teammates like Johnny Sexton called him the glue, the one who mediated locker room spats and mentored young guns like Jordan Lama. But beneath the polished exterior, pressures mounted. The 2023 World Cup heartbreak still stung, and whispers of contract disputes with Leinster added invisible weight. Hugo pushed harder, trained fiercer, ignoring the fatigue creeping in like fog over the Aviva Stadium. On October 4, 2025, after a grueling session prepping for the Autumn Nations series, he waved off the team bus, opting for a solo drive home. Ella was away covering a story in London, leaving him alone with his thoughts. The radio hummed with old U2 tracks, rain pattering against the windshield like distant applause. He was just 20 minutes from home, mind replaying a botched kick from practice, when his phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. He glanced down, just for a second. That's when the curve sharpened, the headlights of an oncoming truck pierced the downpour, and fate twisted the knife. Tires locked, the world spun in a blur of glass and gravel. Hugo's Audi flipped once, twice, slamming into the guardrail with a force that crumpled the hood like paper. Silence followed, broken only by the hiss of steam and his. Blood trickled from a gash on his forehead, but as paramedics swarmed, the first words he gasped were, "Ella, tell her I'm sorry." What secret had that text unlocked? And as rescuers pried open the door, they found something in the passenger seat that would shatter everything he held dear: a crumpled envelope, stained with rain and regret. But wait, was Hugo even driving straight, or had a hidden demon taken the wheel? You're tuned into Aussie NRL updates, your go-to for raw rugby stories down under and beyond. Keep it locked for more edge-of-your-seat updates. The impact was cataclysmic, a symphony of destruction that unfolded in heart-stopping slow motion for those piecing it together later. Witnesses on that desolate stretch of the N11 described a phantom truck barreling through the storm, its driver a ghost who vanished before police arrived. Hugo's car, a sleek black Audi Q5 he'd splurged on after signing a lucrative endorsement deal with Heineken, lay twisted like a discarded toy, its once pristine frame now a mangled testament to fragility. Inside, Hugo hung upside down, seatbelt biting into his shoulder, shards of windshield glittering like cruel stars around him. His right leg throbbed with fire, a compound fracture, bone-piercing skin in a grotesque bloom of red. Concussion blurred his vision, memories fracturing like the rearview mirror, the text's ominous words, "We know what you did. Meet now or pay." Who was we? As sirens wailed in the distance, Hugo clawed for his phone, screen cracked but alive, the message from Shadow 11 glaring back. Panic surged. This wasn't random, it was reckoning. Paramedics arrived in a frenzy, stabilizing his neck with a collar that felt like a noose, injecting morphine that dulled the edges but amplified the dread. Rushed to St. Vincent's University Hospital, he was wheeled into Trauma Bay 3, where surgeons battled to save his knee, the one that had dodged tacklers for a decade. News leaked fast in rugby's tight-knit world. Teammates flooded the waiting room, Sorellen Doris pacing like a caged lion, his flatmate Hugo now a patient fighting for his future. Leo Cullen arrived stone-faced, phoning IRFU brass with updates laced in fury. By dawn, headlines screamed, Keenan's nightmare crash. Rugby star fights for life. Fans gathered outside, candles flickering in the rain, chanting his name in a vigil that trended worldwide. But in the haze of recovery, a surprise detonated like a loose cannon. Toxicology reports cleared drugs and alcohol, yet dashcam footage from a passing lorry revealed the truck swerving erratically, as if fleeing a scene it caused. Was it deliberate? Hugo, groggy under fluorescent lights, confessed to nurses about the envelope. A faded photo of him and a mystery woman from years ago, scribbled with "Your lies end tonight." Ella, boarding the first flight from Heathrow, clutched her phone, unread voicemails from Hugo piling up. She burst into his room, eyes locking on the bandages. Monitors beeping like accusations. "What aren't you telling me?" she whispered, her hand trembling in his. He squeezed back, voice a rasp. "It's older than us, love. A ghost from my rookie days." As detectives hovered, piecing brake marks and tire treads, the room grew heavy with unspoken truths. Hugo's world, once a highlight reel of glory, now teetered on exposure. But just as Ella leaned in for answers, his monitor spiked, a seizure ripping through him, doctors shouting "clear" as the paddles charged. Lights dimmed, her scream echoed, and in that blackout, one question burned. Who was the woman in the photo, and why had she resurfaced to destroy him now? The crash was just the spark. The real inferno was about to ignite. Moments after the seizure, the ICU became a war zone of beeps and barked orders, Hugo's body arching like a bowstring under the defibrillator's jolt. He stabilized, but the damage lingered. A torn ACL that could bench him for a year, bruised ribs cracking with every breath, and a brain fog that turned champions into children. Ella refused to leave, curling in the vinyl chair, her journalist's notebook filling with questions sharper than scalpels. Teammates rotated shifts. Gary Ringrose brought bootleg DVDs of old matches, cracking jokes to pierce the gloom. Josh Van der Flyer smuggled in protein shakes, vowing, "We'll rebuild you tougher." The rugby world paused, matches dedicated to him, opponents like France's Damien Penaud tweeting prayers in broken English. IRFU suspended training, a show of solidarity that masked the undercurrent of scandal. Reporters camped outside, hungry for dirt, but Hugo's silence fueled speculation. Hidden run? Road rage? Or something personal, tied to that damned envelope? Surprise struck like lightning when forensics dusted the passenger side. Fingerprints not Hugo's, belonging to a low-level agent from his early days at UCD RFC. The photo. A snapshot from a wild 2015 tour in South Africa. Hugo, 19 and reckless, entangled in a one-night fling with a local fan, Lena Voss, whose jealous ex had ties to Dublin's underbelly. The text? A blackmail ploy unearthed